Good morning. Welcome to our last fabulous Friday of this Life Transformation Series 3. Good to see you, Richie. Have missed you for the last couple of days. Happy to have you back. All right, let's start. Good to see you, Manish. All right, let's start our morning with our Power of Dreams programming. Let's think of what we really want in life, what we desire. Let's see it come true. Let's feel the feelings, and let's come back for a session on letting go. All right, then. So we've been doing this beautiful book, Letting Go, and yesterday we talked about few points which will help us in letting go, and we were actually talking about how each one of us can heal ourselves. This is something which we've done in a way with Louise Hay. This is something we've done otherwise, but we were talking about how to accept our feelings, how to not let them just keep going under. And many times we've been taught by family, friends, society, छोड़ दो मिट्टी डाल दो move on. Now छोड़ दो मिट्टी डाल दो does not mean that उनको आप just cover them up in debris. It means that you it actually should be that people should be telling us how to accept our feelings, which we've never been taught. So till yesterday we done till point number 3, surrender, resistance to and skepticism about positive feelings. जब हम रेजिस्ट करते हैं नेगेटिव फीलिंग्स को कि अरे मैं ऐसा क्यों फील कर रहा हूँ, मुझे नई फील ऐसे करना चाहिए, that is when we're supposed to really think about it. There should be no skepticism about positive feelings. Positive feelings आ रही है तो fabulous. Resistance to नहीं होना चाहिए, ना positive के लिए ना negative के लिए. Negative अगर आती हैं उनको very simply all of us have to realize one thing, that we have to accept them. And there, if it's negative, rather than expressing them, we just surrender them. If they're positive, enjoy the feeling. Very simple. Ruchi, please read the next point. Notice.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Relinquish negative feelings, but share positive ones.
Okay. So now we must let our negative feelings be and don't just talk about them too much because you don't want to expand them. But when it comes to positive feelings, very important to expand them, very important to talk to people about them because you are going to become like catalyst. When you share them, people are going to be very much interested, motivated, and it just is like a beautiful feeling. So one must talk about the good things. And please let that philosophy be कि नजर लग जाती है. It's all in the mind. And if you don't want to share, then at least write about it. You want to expand it. So whatever your persona is, whatever your thing is, just work on that. Yes, please.
Notice that letting go is accompanied by a subtle, overall lighter feeling within yourself.
Now, the minute we let go of something negative, anything negative, you will always feel that you just feel light within yourself. Yeah.
Relinquishing a desire does not mean that you won't get what you want. It merely clears the way for it to happen.
No, this is what we even learned in the full moon. We have a desire, but it doesn't mean that we don't get what we want. It simply means that it's clearing the way for it to happen more and more, because कई बार वो frustration, वो desperation, वो desire इतनी strong हो जाती है, and फिर fear आ जाता है कि नहीं मिलेगा तो क्या, and that fear manifests. So we just have to let go, surrender with the saying that this or something better will happen or may happen for the highest best of mine and others, highest good of mine and others, which means you have the intention ये हो जाए और नहीं तो इससे कुछ better हो जाए. Now, when you say that, you're letting go and you're clearing the aura of yourself where you are holding on to it very tightly and making it happen.
Get it by osmosis. Put yourself in the aura of those who have what you want.
Okay. Very, very important to put yourself in osmosis. Very, very important to have your aura in a fashion where it's so positive that whatever you want in life, you're getting it without even asking for it in a literal fashion. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by putting yourself in osmosis? What do you mean by, can anyone tell me before we go further? Let's understand, what are you understanding out of all of this? What do you mean by this? I like now on onwards, now that we are concluding, very important for us to understand what we're reading. What does osmosis mean? Anyone knows? What is actually osmosis is a scientific chemical process, right? Now it's all about water, it's all about solvents, it's all about so how do you what does this mean in our turn? Yes, anyone? So I don't know. Okay, if you're not clear, let me explain. Now let me not explain the scientific method completely. Let me just, yes, let's just start flowing. Absolutely. Let go, releasing negativity. All right. So here in osmosis, what we have to do is, again, as Meenakshi says, start flowing. Start coming to a point where all of us just become like water. We're just going to just start flowing. And when we start flowing, when there's no resistance, now, why do we not flow? जब कभी लाइफ में रेजिस्टेंस आता है, हम ब्लॉक करते हैं, तब हम we just become stagnant. The way water flows, if we start flowing like that, our energy centers will be so much more clearer. And that's when you will realize that everything is possible in a very, very nice fashion. So very important for all of us to put ourselves in our energy zone where our aura is cleared, where whatever we want in our life, we get very, very easily. जब हमारी energy frequency इतनी high होगी कि हम जो सोचेंगे वो मिल जाएगा, वो इसलिए होगा because there'll be no separation, there'll be oneness. When you're like water, when you find that you're one with everything, whatever we think of happens immediately. कई बार हुआ भी हमारे साथ, और फिर हम बोलते भी हैं कुछ और सोचा तो कुछ और मांगा होता तो वो भी हो जाता. That's because that particular moment we were in osmosis, we were in a oneness situation, and that time our aura, our frequency, whatever we're radiating, was very, very, very high and beautiful and plain and simple, not technical, not complicated at all. Next one, please.
Like goes to like. Associate with people who are using the same or similar motivation and who have the intention to expand their consciousness and to heal.
This is very important, to have a like-minded set of people, whether they are a sangha or whether there's somebody in life that you keep meeting them again and again. So for example, in Calcutta, Pratima ji and all keep meeting again. The sangha keeps meeting once on and off, once a month, once in 2 months. Bombay keeps meeting up. Whether you're meeting up or not, whether you're setting up Zoom calls or however, start meeting people, because you need to have good company. Now the sessions is coming to an end. When it starts next, I have no idea. And whether we are all joining, we have no idea. Very simple to understand that we need to get motivated. to get motivated, it's very important to hear of the tales of magic. Okay, I put that theory in practice and this is what happened. Okay, this is what I did, this is what happened. My consciousness is elevating. I'm healing, this has happened. So we must go and believe that whatever we want in life comes to us, like goes to like. We must associate with people who are in the same process, same spiritual journey. Okay, next one.
Be aware that your inner state is known and transmitted. The people around you will intuit what you are feeling and thinking, even if you don't verbalize it.
We've spoken about this in very much detail. हर चीज बोलने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. We don't have to say everything. अगर हम कुछ फील भी कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो नेगेटिव हो चाहे वो पॉजिटिव हो, वो वाइब्रेशंस ऑटोमेटिकली ट्रांसमिट करती हैं. हमारे अंदर की स्टेट क्या है, वी मस्ट बी अवेयर ऑफ इट, बिकॉज जो भी हमारे आसपास हैं उनको भी इंट्यूशन हो जाएगी कि हम क्या फील कर रहे हैं, क्या सोच रहे हैं. हमारे बोलने का इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है, हम अंदर क्या फील कर रहे हैं वो इम्पोर्टेंस है. एंड इसके साथ साथ अगर हम सोचें कि मैं क्या सोच रहा हूँ इज नोन टू एवरीवन, ऑटोमेटिकली मैं अपने आप को करेक्ट कर लूंगा बिग टाइम. बिकॉज हम 90% सोचते हैं ये तो मेरी अपनी फीलिंग्स हैं, लोगों को तो पता ही नहीं इसके बारे में, व्हाट्स अ बिग डील. बट द मिनट वी रियलाइज कि नहीं, लोगों को पता चल रहा है, दैट्स व्हेन द गेम चेंजेस. ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट वन.
Persistence pays off. Some symptoms or illnesses may disappear promptly. Others may take months or years if the condition is very chronic.
This is very important to understand that in life, if we are persistent, 100% उसका रिजल्ट मिलेगा. कोई बीमारियां अगर होंगी, कोई भी अगर इलनेसेस होंगी, वो डिसअपियर हो जाएंगी अपने आप से. कई चीजों को टाइम लगेगा, महीने साल भी लग सकते हैं अगर कंडीशन क्रॉनिक है तो. स्मॉल लिटिल थिंग्स गो अवे वेरी 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 इजीली इफ वी लेट गो एंड इफ वी आर कमिटेड. ये नहीं कि 2 दिन कर लिया, 2 दिन ब्रेक ले लिया, फिर 2 दिन कर लिया, फिर 2 दिन ब्रेक कर लिया. Persistence is very 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 important, and for this I would really compliment Pratima ji. 1 full year she has been so persistent, unbelievable. Even if she would take a break of 1 day or 2 days, she would mention to me कि मैं जा रही हूँ, वहाँ नेट नहीं है, वहाँ से भी she would try and attend. Amazing. So that's what is important, persistence. Now what persistence will matter for all of you? Writing gratitude every single day. Now you don't change that. 10 blessing रोज लिखनी है तो लिखनी है. If you can't write down, use your mobile phones, but please write them down as much as possible. They are magical. Affirmations, if you don't want to write them down every day, make a list of 20, 30, 40 affirmations. Books में already printed है भी. जो आपकी 2 books हैं, अभिप्रीति and अभिव्यक्ति and अभिप्रीति, दोनों में affirmation लिखी भी हुई है. Please read them every single day. This is going to really, really, really help you. And with your dreams, if you can just follow the full moon and new moon cycle, you're pretty much sorted for life, right? So thank you, Pratima. You were saying that I inspire you. It's a 2-way traffic. I'm as inspired. Thank you so much. Yes, Ruchi, the next one.
Let go of resisting the technique. Start the day with it. At the end of the day, take time out to relinquish any negative feelings left over from the day's activities.
Now, this is important. When we sleep, we are simply going to declutter our brain. When we sleep, we're going to be just letting go. And when we wake up, we're going to be letting go. So that we can start our day and end our day by putting all the negative feelings away and knowing that whatever is coming our way is coming for the best. And agar negativity aayegi bhi to, we should know that we have to accept it and then surrender it. पहले acceptance important है negative feelings का. आदि पर हम accept ही नहीं करते, नहीं, I can't be feeling that I am this, I can't be doing that. Very, very, very important to understand that. All right, next one.
You are only subject to what you hold in mind. You are only subject to a negative thought or belief if you consciously or unconsciously say that it applies to you.
So all of us are people who hold something in our mind. दिमाग में क्या है वो ही manifest होके आता है. Negative thoughts या beliefs जो हमारे अंदर हैं, हमारे अपने क्यों बनते हैं? सोसाइटी की वजह से, कंडीशनिंग की वजह से। अब अगर कॉन्शियस हैं हम इनके बारे में या अनकॉन्शियस हैं इनके बारे में, जो हमने बिलीफ को अपने अंदर बनाया हुआ है वो ही मैनिफेस्ट होके आएगा। द गुड न्यूज इज these beliefs can be rewritten. We can reprogram ourselves, rewrite a new conditioning, a new life for ourselves. And we've spoken in detail about how to let go of these beliefs and how to rewrite them. Again, very, very, very important for all of us to understand that if we have our own manifestation which is recorded, if we have our own affirmation that is recorded, हम subconsciously अपने आप को reprogram करते रहते हैं. And that ultimately gives you a huge, huge shift in your attitude. Now, this next one is long and it's important. Let's read it.
Stop giving the physical disorder a name. Do not label it. A label is a whole program. Surrender what is actually felt, which are the sensation themselves. We cannot feel a disease. A disease is an abstract concept held in the mind. We cannot, for instance, feel asthma. It is helpful to ask, what am I actually feeling? Simply observe the physical sensations such as tightness in the chest, wheezing, a cough. It is not possible, for example, to experience the thought, I'm not getting enough air. That is a fearful thought in the mind. It is a concept, a whole program called asthma. What is actually being experienced is a tension or a constriction in the throat or chest. The same principle goes for ulcers or any other disorder. We cannot feel ulcers, we feel a burning or piercing sensation. The word ulcer is a label and a program. And as soon as we use that word to label our experience, we identify ourselves with the whole ulcer program. Even the word pain is a program. In reality, we are feeling a specific body sensation. The process of self healing goes more quickly when we let go of labeling or giving a name to the various physical sensations.
Now, very important to understand this. हम सब लेबल करते हैं हर चीज को. ये अच्छा है, ये बुरा है, छोटा है, बड़ा है, ये ऐसा है, महंगा है, सस्ता है, ये बीमार है, ये हेल्दी है, मुझे अस्थमा है, मुझे थायराइड है, मुझे अल्सर्स हैं. नाउ इन्होंने जो एग्जांपल दिया अस्थमा का, so beautiful. We can't feel asthma, right? But what happens? Like, I can tell you personally, I have gone through asthma for a long time. Last 4 years or 3 years, I think I've been clear of asthma. I used to feel I can't breathe. I've been hospitalized. I've had oxygen being pumped in me because मुझे लगता था सांस ही नहीं आ रही. यहाँ chest पे लगता है जैसे कोई पत्थर आ गया हो. Like, it's completely become like rock solid. Now, what happens when you start feeling that I have asthma, I have asthma, I have asthma? You are going to unfortunately make yourself so sick. Now, when you can't feel a disease, you ask yourself a question: what am I actually feeling? And if the reply says, okay, I have tightness in the chest, okay, I'm wheezing, okay, I'm gasping for breath, okay, I'm just not feeling very comfortable, oh, I think I'm ALS, whatever is it. We're just picking up one example, which the author spoke to me about asthma and its personal relation also. Now, the minute you say that and you say, why am I feeling it? Has something happened which has triggered this? Rather than expanding the tightness in the chest, I'm asking myself a question, ye tightness in chest kyun hua? What happened? Did something make me so uncomfortable that this happened? Always observe the pattern of your bimaris or the diseases which are happening in your body. Well, until you experience that, until you experience the feelings that are happening because of which this is coming up, we will not be able to go further. So very, very, very important for us to know that all of us are in the process of letting go. Okay, so I felt this feeling, that's why probably this happened. I let go, I surrender. And when I practiced this, I realized, oh my God, that chest mid tightness would just start becoming lighter, 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 lighter. All of a sudden, when I couldn't breathe, I realized I can breathe. And this happened without going to a hospital. When I read this book, I'm like, let me experiment it. And it, to the word 4 years, it's gone. It's all gone. So very, very important not to own, not to label. कुछ हो रहा है तो उसको एड्रेस करिए, अंदर जाइए, सवाल जवाब मांगिए. Nobody will come and tell you. My mother won't come and tell me तुम्हें अस्थमा हो रहा है because of this reason. को तब तो मैं उन्हें कट ऑफ कर दूंगा. आपको पता ही नहीं, you don't know how it feels. You know, I'm the one who can't grasp. You're just taking it too lightly. Because I will be on the defensive. Because I will not want to agree ना कि मेरी सोच की वजह से मुझे बीमारी हो रही है. 90% जब लोग बोलते हैं ना तुम्हारी वजह से हो रहा है, nobody wants to understand. नहीं, आपको पता ही नहीं ना, we are going through it. ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है. और हमने ये भी देखा कि कैंसर तक होता है हमारी अपनी वजह से. So what are these asthmas? What are these ulcers? Very important to clear our own thoughts. Very important to let ourselves heal. Next, please.
The same is true with our feelings. Instead of putting labels and names on feelings, we can simply feel the feelings and let go of the energy behind them. It is not necessary to label a feeling fear in order to be aware of its energy and relinquish that energy.
So this is not very easy to do because I've tried this but I'm saying, so हम लोग labels लगाते हैं feelings पे भी, right? The author is telling us that we don't have to label our feelings. We have to understand what are we feeling, but okay, this is not right, fine. But the very word dar, fear, we're supposed to stay away from it. I would say accept that also and let that go. Very, very important to accept it also. But don't get guided and don't get guarded with it. If fear hai, to aisa hai. Okay, if you have fear, what is the worst that can happen? Ask yourself a question, what's the worst? And then let it go. Now we are in the next section, the healing of multiple diseases.
In the case of this physician, there were so many illnesses all at one time that it was impossible to remember them all. When giving a lecture, it was necessary to list them on an index card. All of the following illnesses were occurring at age 50. Migraine headaches, chronic and frequent, blocked tubes, painful earaches, nearsightedness and astigmatism, trifocals were prescribed, sinuses, postnasal nasal drip, allergies, dermatitis, various types, gout attacks, necessary to carry a cane in the trunk of the car and to have a restricted diet, cholesterol problem, further restrictions in diet, duodenal ulcer, chronic and recurring for over 20 years, unresponsive to all medical treatments, pancreatitis, intermittent attacks precipitated by the recurrent ulcer.
These are basically just a list of whatever diseases that keep coming up and what are they all about, just so that you kind of know about them and the myths and the beliefs around them. So we'll just read them. There's no need of explanation unless and until you want something. And I'll tell you some good thing about me, or maybe you think it's bad. I do not know jack shit about bimari. And people say you have something, kya treatment chal raha, I don't know anything. I used to follow my doctors blindly. They would say, do this. So when I had cancer also, they would say, क्या क्या हुआ होगा, क्या क्या ऐसा ऐसा मुझे कुछ याद ही नहीं है. I don't remember the phase. Who wants to remember a phase which was, I remember the good part that my chants were going on, that I was having good time, 2-3 hours to myself, to my books, to my scriptures, to my chants. Rest क्या हो रहा था मुझे नहीं पता. I remember drip चलती थी body में. That's it. मुझे कुछ याद ही नहीं. And when people ask me about बीमारी में क्या होता है क्या नहीं होता, ऐसे मुझे कुछ नहीं पता. The least I know about bimari, the least it attacks me. Why should I get too clouded by whatever is happening around? But yes, for many of us, it's important to know what is what. So here we are.
Gastritis, hyperacidity, intermittent pylospasm, therefore further diet restrictions, colitis, recurring, diverticulitis, and appendicitis type condition of the colon, sometimes hemorrhaged, requiring hospitalization and blood transfusion. Common problems at the lower end of the gastrointestinal tract scheduled for surgery. Arthritis of the cervical spine, displacement of the fourth cervical vertebrae, low back syndrome necessitating chiropractic treatment, vibration disease, loss of sensation and impending gangrene in fingertips due to the loss of circulation, middle age syndrome, coldness in hands and feet, loss of energy and libido, and depression, pylonidal cyst at the base of spine, curable only by surgery, bronchitis and chronic cough, aggravated the headaches, spondylosis, and low back syndrome. Poison ivy sensitivity. Skin broke out every year, sometimes required hospitalization. Athletes' food. There was the belief system that it came from hotel room floors. Dandruff. There was the belief system that it came from being in a barber shop. Inflammation of the cartilage. A rare disorder with painful swelling of the junction of the rib and sternum. Dental and gum problems. Loss of bone around the base of teeth. Surgery was recommended for the gums. Overall energy imbalance. Kinesiologic testing revealed that all of the energy systems were out of balance and every meridian tested weak.
Okay. So now very important for all of us to realize that everything is happening for a reason, and what they are has been mentioned. A few places they even mentioned the belief as to why it happens. Now let me take this further a bit, and then I'm going to get Ritu to come back. In retrospect, it is mind-boggling how the body kept on going in the world and functioned as well as it did. Inasmuch as each of the disorders required a further restriction in diet, there were times when reducing and letting go and, just leaving that thing away from your body was making you heal. Now, herein, what we have been taught about is that some disorders are requiring a restriction in diet. But in some people I've seen, when they have been just told something like a placebo that this is going to work for you, it kind of works for them. Now, in this, they have experimented. When lettuce and carrots were about only safe foods, people thought they will heal with it. And they actually did. Why? Just because they knew this is a belief system. This led to the loss of 25 pounds and a body that looked thin and haggard. Later, some friends revealed that they had made bets on how long the body was going to last. Most of them estimated that it would probably kill over at age 53. The inner question is, at that time, was how could a successful, highly educated, professional man functioning creatively in the world, leading a balanced life, who had been through psychoanalyzed and experienced many modalities of therapy and healing, still have so many physical ailments? Yes, there was a large workload. It was balanced with physical exercise and creative work. There's carpentry, masonry, woodwork, and architectural design. Moreover, the spiritual daily life was active. And after, please.
Moreover, the spiritual life was active with 2 hours of meditation every day before and after work. The endless techniques mentioned in the introduction were investigated. Self-hypnosis, macrobiotics, reflexology, iridology, polarity therapy, affirmations, astral projection, group intensives, body work, relaxation, and so on. What was the answer to this strange paradox of someone who had tried a multitude of techniques, groups, and therapies, but who still had a staggering array of illnesses? Also, how was it that he operated so successfully in the world despite this long list of illnesses and the constant pain that went with them? The answer seemed to be a very strong will. It carried him through all obstacles and had the power to push aside anything that interfered with that effective functioning. In this case, primarily feelings. With that kind of willpower, when a feeling was suppressed, it stayed suppressed.
Very important to understand. No matter how high you reach, no matter how spiritual you become, no matter how modalities you use, अगर आपने अपनी फीलिंग्स को अंडरस्टैंड करना नहीं सीखा, रिलेट करना नहीं सीखा, एक्सेप्ट करना नहीं सीखा, तो आप ऑपरेशन सप्रेशन के विक्टिम रहेंगे. मैं ये नहीं बोल रही आप एक्सप्रेस करिए. We've read about and even the points we're not supposed to express our negative feelings. Not supposed to express मतलब नेगेटिव फीलिंग आएगी तो गुस्सा आएगा, एंगर आएगा, फ्रस्ट्रेशन आएगी, आप किसी पे भड़ास निकाल दोगे. We're not supposed to do that. But understand them कि मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है, या मुझे ये फील बहुत मुझे गुस्सा इस बात पे आ रहा है कि ये चीज पूरी नहीं हुई. So I accept. But then ask myself a question. Okay, can I change it? If the answer says okay, you can. Okay, what can I do for it? All right, I can do this. And if I can't, mere haath mein hi nahi hai, I'm not the one who can change it. All I can give is the feelings and blessings of love and light and hope that it can be changed, but I'm not sure. The other person is a doer. Then what's the point of being angry? Understanding our primary feelings, understanding the secondary feelings, understanding all kinds of small, large, little feelings is important. At least now onwards, let's not suppress, because वो हमने जो suppress किया कहीं ना कहीं उठ के आएगा ही आएगा. So very important to look at it rationally, accept them, surrender by questioning ourselves and knowing that we have all the answers within us. Yes, let's continue.
The scientific ideal is objectivity. Objectivity means an absence of emotion. The achievement of this ideal is clinical and scientific work necessitated a suppression of feelings. This was especially intense given the nature of the clinical practice, which was with severely ill people. The extent of the suffering and that of their families seemed nearly endless. It went on relentlessly day after day, year in and year out. The intensity was compounded by having a compassionate nature and being attuned to people's suffering. The mounting pressures of suppressed emotion in all areas of life obviously contributed to the multiplicity of illnesses.
So again, very important to understand that scientifically, जो बोलते हैं objectivity, look at it objectivity, it just means आप उस समय emotion को objectively देख रहे हो कि that's an object, that emotion is an object. And I'm observing it. Observing के वक्त मैं feelings नहीं ला रही. मैं देख रही हूँ as an outside perspective that why am I feeling this emotion? Why am I feeling this feeling? Now, when you achieve that moment, when you can actually watch, okay, this is ये पहले भी हुआ था और मैंने पहले suppress किया था, तो आज वापस उठ के आया है. This will give you a lot of power. Because when you do this, it's going to heal you from a very deep down level. Okay, पहले भी हुआ था और पहले भी हुआ था with the reason हुआ होगा मैंने इसको इतना राई का पहाड़ बना लिया या मेरी माइंड ने बोला कि बहुत बड़ी चीज है और मैंने इसको अपने साथ रख लिया. Actually, this was my thinking. मैंने बहुत ज्यादा सोचा and I am the one who can change it. मेरी सफरिंग जो थी वो एंडलेस थी बिकॉज मैंने इसको सोचा कि ये इतना ज्यादा चीज है, मैंने इसको ब्रेक नहीं किया, ब्रेक करके पढ़ा नहीं. बट नाउ in my journey, I know that I should be doing this and I can do this. And let me work on myself again and again and again. Because I am a person in progress. I will have to always work on myself. When I say this, I am pretty much in a very, very wide extent cutting my suffering to a large, large extent. When I cut my suffering, everything around me stops suffering. Very important to understand this. And very, very important to understand that we have to have karuna, compassion towards ourselves and to other people, whoever is suffering. Rather than telling them, तुम ऐसे क्यों लग रहा है, तुमने अपने दिमाग से बनाया हुआ, इतना मत सोचो. I will start saying, सोचो ये क्यों हुआ है. Let's think about it. Let's analyze. कि हमने इसको इतना क्यों सोचा. बच्चों को भी should train them. अगर वो suppress करे emotions, कैसे उनको बाहर निकालना है उससे, कैसे उनको एनालाइज करवाना है. क्योंकि बेटा आपको ये फीलिंग हो रहा है, इट्स फाइन टू फील दैट. क्यों हो रहा है आप बताओ, क्यों क्यों क्यों, क्या अच्छा क्या वर्स हो जाएगा. अच्छा, मेक इट स्मॉलर स्मॉलर स्मॉलर. लाइफ में चैलेंजेस फेस करना हम सबको आना चाहिए. सो फॉर दिस वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर बिट.
At a certain point, both the mechanism of surrender and A Course in Miracles were investigated and applied to daily life. Because of the busy work schedule, there was very little time for any new techniques. Happily, the workbook of A Course in Miracles requires the simple contemplation of a sentence or lesson throughout the day. The power of this technique is the elevation of guilt by utilizing the mechanism of forgiveness. The mechanism of surrender could also be done silently throughout the day as an inner process. The two tools worked together. Surrendering and forgiving went on simultaneously during the day.
Okay, very important for this important thing to come in mind. जब हम सरेंडर को प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, उसके पहले हम एक्सेप्ट करते हैं. एक्सेप्ट किया, सरेंडर किया, साथ साथ में फॉरगिव करना है कि आई एम सॉरी. फॉर एग्जांपल मैं अपने लिए आई एम सॉरी प्राची, वी वेंट थ्रू दिस, और हमने इसको इस डिजीज को लिया, या ये हुआ, हमने ये सोच लिया और मैंने अपने आप को लेबल कर दिया. आई एम सॉरी, but it was important for me to go through what I had gone through, because everyone says that everything happens for the right reason. Now I understand the pattern, and I am going to keep understanding, keep accepting, keep surrendering, and keep forgiving, because this is who I am, and I have to become a better version of myself. So I forgive you, Prachi, and I forgive everything around me, whatever happened or whatever was the reason for it to happen. Especially the people I thought जिनकी वजह से मेरे साथ ये हुआ. And forgiving का हमने कई बार समझा है. Forgiving word is for giving love. So we actually give them love. And if we can't give them love, give them blessings. It's okay. You can't feel love for them, at least bless them. When you do that, on a deeper level in your body, you'll realize there's a huge healing. And जो burden आपके दिल पे था या जहाँ पर भी था, वो light हो जाएगा. You will just feel so much more lighter. Yeah. So let's start practicing these beautiful mechanisms. All right, let's read further.
Once the mind knows the way to elevate its inner pressure like Pandora's box, it begins to let all the garbage up, and up it came in profusion. Thoughts and feelings, which had hardly been noticed at the time of their occurrence, now returned. Life had been so busy that there had not been the time to handle them. The decompression process began to unfold on its own.
Yeah, एक minute. So let's understand. We all are in this journey. ये Pandora's box क्या होता था? कहते थे ना कि इसमें when you open it, all the problems will start come out. Pandora box को बंद नहीं रहने दो. This was a fable, a story, a fairy tale. Very, very important to understand that all of us are in this journey जहाँ हम सब pressure cookers बन चुके हैं. Pressure cookers में क्या होता है? Pressure की वजह से खाना cook होता है. अब वो लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है? प्रेशर कुकर तो अपने आप पड़े पड़े हीट निकाल देता है, हमारी हीट निकलती नहीं है. वी बिकम लाइक पैंडोरास बॉक्स. सारा कचरा जो अंदर, इमेजिन कोई प्रेशर से कुक हुआ है खाना और आप उसको महीना भर खोल ही नहीं रहे, सड़ जाएगा ना. दैट्स व्हाट्स हैपनिंग विद अस, एंड दैट्स व्हाट इज कमिंग आउट. थॉट्स, फीलिंग्स, जो कुछ भी आ रहा है, all of this is so important to not be just left aside. तब वो प्रेशर कुकर की तरह हो जाएगा, सड़ता रहेगा. We have to make that a part of our life and keep cleaning it periodically. जब कभी टाइम मिले, कभी भी फील खाली बैठे हो, okay, what am I feeling? If it's a good feeling, expand it. If it's not a good feeling, understand it. We are not so busy as we made ourselves to be. We have to give ourselves importance and time. Decompression process धीरे 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 होता है, but let's start understanding it to declutter ourselves. All right, let's go further.
One immediate discovery was that every negative feeling or thought is associated with guilt, and this guilt is so all-encompassing that it is constantly being suppressed. Thus, there is no such thing as just anger. The actual feeling is anger guilt. There is guilt every time we have a critical thought about someone. The mind's constant judging and criticizing of the world, its events and people, is an unending source of guilt. Guilt itself engenders negative feelings, and negative feelings in and of themselves also engender guilt. It is that deadly combination which pulls us all down and creates such widespread illness and unhappiness. The guilt is so omnipresent that no matter what we are doing, we feel somewhere in our mind that we should be doing something else. We have lived with so much guilt for so long that we don't even recognize it anymore. And somehow that guilt is projected by the average mind onto the world around it. That is why most people need an enemy, an object on which to project their inner guilt. It is also where tyrants get their power by manipulating people's guilt and finding a satisfactory target for it.
Very important. हम सब गिल्ट में जीते हैं आधी बार. ज्यादा कुछ खा लिया तो अरे आई एम गिल्टी, आई शुडंट हैव ईटन, मैंने प्लान किया था मैं नहीं खाऊंगा। कुछ बिंज कर लिया, ज्यादा टेलीविजन देख लिया, अरे आई एम गिल्टी, आई शुडंट हैव डन इट। जब गिल्ट आता है तो अनहैप्पीनेस आती है। ऑब्वियसली यू आर नॉट हैप्पी बिकॉज गिल्ट आया है, यू आर नॉट हैप्पी, यू डन समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट टू बी डन। नाउ हाउ डू यू रिमूव द गिल्ट? कैन एनीवन टेल मी, हाउ डू वी रिमूव द गिल्ट? Okay, I have no answer, so let me say. We accepted that we have binged. And we say it's okay. Yes, absolutely, Vijay. We forgive. It's okay, I've done this. And I accept it. मैंने उस समय मुझे लगा तो मैंने कर लिया, मुझे नहीं करना चाहिए था, but it's okay. We acknowledge it. Absolutely, Ruchi. We let go. Absolutely, Meenakshi. So once we do that, we're going to realize that we've accepted something and we've done that and forgiven ourselves. And this is when we pull ourselves out of the guilt zone. नहीं तो गिल्ट के साथ क्या होता है, हमने कुछ गलत काम किया, it's like a teacher, we've done something wrong, punishment तो मिलेगी। अब punishment मिल रही है तो क्या होगा, कुछ ना कुछ बीमारी आ जाएगी, या हम किसी के हाथ का puppet बन जाएंगे, somebody will know she's guilty, उसका तो ये चल रहा है, let me manipulate. So let's understand, guilt is something we don't have to feel in the sense of feeling and letting go, but not expand it. Very, very, very important. Yes, let's continue. In fact, at this point, let's take a break. Let's do sun salutations and we'll come back to this chapter.
The Surya Namaskar with mantras. Om Mitraye Namaha. Om Ravaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Bhanave Namaha. Om Khagaye Namaha. Om Pushne Namaha. Om Hiranyagarbhaye Namaha. Om Marichaye Namaha. Om Adityay Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkay Namaha. Om Bhaskaray Namaha. Salutations to the universal friend. Salutations to the resplendent sun. Salutations to the energy that induces activity within us. Salutations to the one who illumines. Salutations to the sun moving across the sky. Salutations to the giver of strength. Salutations to the golden cosmic self. Salutations to the Lord of the dawn. Salutations to the son of Aditi, the cosmic mother. Salutations to the benevolent mother. Salutations to the energy that we praise, and to the one who guides us to salvation. The sun salutation now with the names of the postures, both in Sanskrit and English. Pranamasan, Hastuthanasan, Madhastasan, left leg back, Ashvasanchalanasana, Parvatasan, and hold this position, and now slowly progressing into the deeper version of Parvatasan, Adho Mukh Svanasana. Ashtang Namaskar, Bhujangasana, Parvatasan, left forward Ashvasanchalanasana, Padahastasana, Hastuthanasan, Pranamasan. On the right side, prayer position, raised arms pose, hand to feet pose, right leg back, equestrian pose, mountain pose, hold mountain pose, and slowly moving into the deeper version of mountain, the downward facing dog. Salute with 8 limbs. Cobra. Press back to mountain. Right forward, equestrian pose. Hand to feet pose. Raised arms position. Prayer pose. One round of the sun salutation with awareness on the breathing. So exhaling our hands to the chest, pranam. Inhaling as we bend back. We exhale as we fold forward. Left leg back, inhale as we're arching back. Exhale into the forward. Hold the breath for knees, chest, chin. Inhale as we arch back. Exhale into the forward. Left leg forward, inhale. This is a back bend. Exhale whenever we bend forward. Inhale as we bend back. Exhale, hands to the chest. And on the right, deep breathing. Exhale. A deep inhale. A long exhale. Right leg back with an inhale. And exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Right leg forward with a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
Welcome back. After being blessed with the sun's energy, let's now move on.
There was also the discovery of a disdain for feelings. Anger surfaced at the imposition of feelings, which can make a person feel like a victim. To a left brain orientation, feelings were the opposite of reasonableness, logic, and rationality. Superimposed on this was the male chauvinist idea that emotions were for women, children, and artistic types. Feelings had been primarily a matter of intellectual understanding and clinical analysis. When they came up internally, they had been labeled, pigeonholed, and filed away.
Very important to understand this. Society ने बोला है boys को लड़के नहीं रोते. You don't do this, you don't do that. हमने labels बना दिए हैं. Emotions का मतलब women, emotions का मतलब बच्चे, emotions का मतलब arty-farty type people. It doesn't mean normal people. What is normal people? Again, we have made labels. Who says a woman can't be strong? Who says a man can't be weak? Who says to be emotional is to be weak? I think they're very strong that time. It's a different perception. Now, do not impose your feelings with these kind of victim modes or these kind of labels. Very, very, very important to understand that we are all in this journey for a reason. And we are not supposed to put any kind of labels for anybody at all. It's okay for them to be feeling whatever they're feeling because it's very, very important. Yeah. All right. Let's go further.
At the beginning of working with the letting go technique, there was a period of rebellion and actually hating the feelings and experiencing dread over having to deal with them. It seemed degrading to have to suffer through them. This required a shift of self-concept because of the strong identification with the intellect. Now, like it or not, it had to be acknowledged that everyone is a thinking, feeling organism. It would not work to keep denying reality.
Okay, so let's understand. जब letting go technique हमने शुरू करी है, there's also a period of rebellion कि नहीं, मेरा तो ऐसे feelings ही नहीं है, नहीं, I don't think I'm feeling this. No, it's not. There's nothing to be dealt with. I am fine the way I am. This happens, and if it happens, it's okay. Accept that also. If it doesn't happen, it's absolutely great. Now, that doesn't give us a license to tell people, I've learned something, I'm going to try and, teach you that. What you can do instead is, okay, let's try an experiment, especially with your children. Okay, let's understand why is this coming. Accept them in flowing the process. Now, do not degrade yourself. Do not suffer because of it. We have to have a shift in our concept. हमने strongly identify किया हुआ है with whatever we have done till now. Understand that we have to now have a shift in our paradigm, in our thinking, and also understand that we are thinking, feeling organisms. 86,400 thoughts a day is what we are actually coming up with. So why are we denying the reality? Let's understand it. Let's make ourselves better versions. All right.
Before long, it was okay to have feelings. With the letting go technique, the only way out was to acknowledge and relinquish the feelings. This became easier as the physical condition started to improve. Although it can initially be difficult to face feelings in ourselves, the light at the end of the tunnel had shown itself, and this engendered hope.
Again, पहले हमें बोलते थे कि हाँ, it's okay to have feelings, right? लेकिन अब हमें बोल रहे हैं it's okay to have feelings, but let's let it go. To make ourselves very, very, very clear by acknowledging them and by relinquishing them. तो accept करना है, surrender करना है. Now that this has happened, physically बहुत अच्छे changes आएंगे. We'll start becoming better, better and better. शुरू में मुश्किल होता है, difficult होता है face करना feelings को, but जब वो बोलते हैं tunnel के end में light आती है. That's how we are. We're going through this tunnel right now. In the end, there is light, and we all know that. Now, that in itself is biggest hope. And considering that, we'll start letting go from now. Let's start.
Within days of using the technique, the physical condition at the lower end of the gastrointestinal tract promptly healed itself, and in fact, the surgery was cancelled. Many of the symptoms that had been active for years, even decades, began to diminish in intensity and frequency as the months went by. Migraine, headaches in particular, became less and less frequent. Lower back pains disappeared. The body began to feel lighter and stronger. Then an unexpected crisis came that brought intense emotional pressure. The diverticulitis returned in a severe form with massive hemorrhaging. There was an inner decision of great magnitude. Either this stuff works or it doesn't. So this time, instead of going to the hospital and getting transfusions, there was complete surrender. All of the sensations going on in the abdomen were acknowledged and not resisted. They were not given a name or a label. Instead of thoughts or words, there was a sense of oneness with the sensations, the cramps, and the pain. There was no resistance to the sensations, no matter how intense. Like being on a razor's edge, every sensation and feeling was recognized and surrendered. This went on for 4 solid hours. At the end of 4 hours, the bleeding stopped, the cramps went away, and the diverticulitis was healed. Later, there were some minor recurrences, but each one was handled in the same way, and eventually the attacks subsided and disappeared. So the mechanism of surrender passed the acid test. It succeeded where everything else had failed. With continued application, other disorders began to fade away.
Do you see how beautifully they're written now? Something as strong as requiring transfusion is being healed. How? जो कोई दर्द हो रहा है, जो कोई क्रैम्प हो रहा है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग इट कि आ रहा है, इट्स ओके. तेज भी आ रहा है तो इट्स ओके. And believe me, I have tried this personally. It really matters. It really affects when you're going through something. Accepting, I keep my hand also. Whichever part is flickering or has pain, I just keep my hand there, wherever it is. And I send it healing. I'm sorry that, I have abused you. So this has come. I detox myself. I clear my negative thoughts, whatever made this come up to you. I'm sorry. And in fact, this is the time I play the Ho'oponopono song also. It's like a therapy for 5-10 minutes. I keep saying sorry. I keep saying forgive me. I keep saying I love you. I keep letting go. And then you will realize that life becomes so amazing. कि कुछ भी panic attacks आ रहे थे, कुछ भी आया था, सब बंद हो जाएगा. Because this is what we all have to learn to evolve. Let's continue to apply it. Let's continue to see all the disorders fading away. Yes, please.
Over time, the experience of knowing replaced thinking. Knowing comes on in a totally different manner. It is just standing there for our recognition. One morning, upon waking, there was the knowing of being cured of poison ivy. At the same time, it was obvious that the very name, the label poison ivy, was a program and a belief system in and of itself. In any case, there was the knowing of being immune to poison ivy. Even when going outside, touching it, playing with it, and putting some of it in a flower pot to carry to an interview program that evening. The subject of the interview was the power of consciousness in self healing.
How wonderful, right? जब तक पॉइजन आइवी को पॉइजन आइवी कहते हैं लोग कह रहे लोगों ने बोला दिस इज पॉइजन आइवी आई हैव टू बी वेरी 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 केयरफुल व्हाट्स हैपनिंग it's going to affect you because you've labeled it. And the minute you change it, your belief system is changed, then you become immune to something as much as even poison ivy. It all goes on to what is our mind tuned to, the power of consciousness and self-healing. If I'm conscious that I have this problem and I am the reason I have this problem, and I say sorry to my body for thinking this, for manifesting this, and I forgive it for things, I'm going to make myself a much better version of myself because energy exchange is happening. Negative programming, जिसकी वजह से guilt आई, जिसकी वजह से बीमारी आई, I accept them all, I clear them all, and then I have only positive energy, and this positive energy, rather than make me feel sick to negative energy thi, will now become positive and make me heal. Very, very important. And this is what helped me in my journey of healing also. I became aware and conscious that I am the doer and this has happened and I am the one who will undo it. Okay, let's read further.
Another episode of knowingness occurred one day when unexpectedly confronted by intense insecticide fumes. Such fumes had been a severe allergy for many years and invariably triggered a severe migraine. On this particular day, however, there was the sudden knowing of immunity to fumes. Walking into a recently fumigated home and taking very deep breaths of the fumes without any consequences at all, a sudden elated feeling of freedom prevailed. How wonderful to be free and to experience the power of mind. It was obvious in that moment that we are only subject to those things that we hold in mind. It is not necessary to be a slave or victim in the world.
Now, this is the power we all want. Conditioning दिमाग में क्या हो रखी है, उसको चेंज करना है, चैलेंज करना है. इससे बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग एनर्जी होती है, इससे ये होता है, इससे वो होता है. Let me challenge it. Let me see what happens. When I become successful, I know my mind is powerful. I know I have the power to change what I have been living in. मैं अभी तक अपने आप को विक्टिम मोड में रखा हुआ था कि ये ऐसे होता तो ऐसे होगा ही होगा. Now, I am the king, I am the queen, I am the master. And I live my life beautifully with support of my body because I'm no longer a victim. Once we say this affirmation, once we have this belief, life will be magical.
The same thing happened with a long standing belief about elevated cholesterol. As the belief and concept of it were cancelled, eating dairy products was resumed with no negative impact on cholesterol. In fact, blood testing showed a progressive lowering of unhealthy cholesterol levels. Moreover, food intolerances and allergies disappeared. It took at least another year, however, for the sugar intolerance and functional hypoglycemia to disappear. For a period of time, it would still recur under periods of stress, especially physical exertion, after eating sugar and sweets accompanied by caffeine.
Again, it's all about the mind. अगर आपके mind में कुछ है, things can be changed. I reversed my thyroid of 11 years. Things are very easy to reverse if we are aware of it. And then, like, there was a time when I got tested, my blood testing was done, and I was allergic to dogs, I was allergic to, all kinds of, I think rajmas and cholas and a lot of things in life. Now those allergies have gone. How? I said, no, I love dogs. They're so cute and I love to pet them. Pehle the dog used to come in the room and I knew half a kilometer kis ghar mein dog hai, to start sneezing. It's all about your belief system. Now I can pet them, hold them, hug them. It doesn't matter. So how? It's about your awareness. Yeah, let's go further.
In the meantime, it was possible to return to a regular diet after many years of severe restrictions. How freeing to eat foods with seeds, not allowed with diverticulitis, all the foods that were supposed to be con- contraindic- contraindicated for ulcers,
Contraindicated.
contraindicated for ulcers and colitis, and even hot fudge sundaes. It took a couple of years for the functional hypoglycemia to disappear, but eventually it was possible to eat all of the sweets that had been forbidden for years.
Again, power of subconscious mind, power of your belief, power of your change, power of acceptance and letting go. Yes, please.
The whole middle age syndrome was a belief system as well. As this belief system was cancelled and surrendered, the coldness disappeared from the hands and feet. The fatigue, mild depression, and irritability also disappeared. Physical stamina increased, and the tolerance for physical work became almost unlimited. Now that the more major things were out of the way, some of the minor ailments were consciously addressed. The belief is pylo- pyloni- pylonidal cyst was surrendered. In 6 weeks, it disappeared. The Eustachian tube, which always blocked when flying in airplanes, caused severe pain in the right ear. It took 2 years to correct itself. There was a continual letting go of all thoughts and feelings about it, and at the same time, the use of visualization in which the angle of the canal with the right temple bone was pictured as changing to a normal angle. This was the only ailment with which visualization was used. At the end of 2 years, the ailment disappeared, and there was never any further difficulty in clearing the ears with changes in altitude. In the meantime, the neck pains were progressively disappearing, and this made dancing possible. While dancing and surrendering any resistance to the neck pain, soon the body began to automatically put itself into self healing postures and movements, as though there were an inner chiropractor manipulating the spine. It was an uncanny sensation, as though invisible healers were realigning the spine.
Isn't it beautiful that there's invisible healing happening with the minute you become aware of it? This is the power of our mind. This is how wonderful life is. If we start stopping to resist, if we start accepting that something is coming in my body and I observe it, that is when the magic begins. Observation, consciousness. Why do they say conscious living? Every point of time, we are conscious of what's going on in our mind, in our body, and at the soul level. Once we reach that state of awareness, all diseases start to fade away. It took 2 years to finish that off. So that's how it is. Let's remember, we all can heal ourselves come what may. That's what it's all about.
As this was going on, there were changes in circulation occurring in the hands and feet, and they were no longer cold all the time. The vibration disease in the fingertips, which had been threatening gangrene, now reversed itself. The pads on the fingertips swelled back out and turned pink again. The burning pain in the fingertips disappeared. Sensation returned. Up to that time, the fingers had become so numb that it was not possible to turn the pages of a book. As the more serious ailments were healed, there was the energy and time to look at even more minor issues. There had been a long-standing belief that people catch dandruff in barber shops. When that belief was surrendered, the dandruff disappeared. A similar process occurred with the belief that correlated athletes' foot with the hotel room floors. Upon continual cancellation of that belief, athletes' foot disappeared. At Thanksgiving time one year, there was the opportunity to test the technique in an acute situation. A huge log dropped on the left foot and broke all the bones across the whole foot. Instead of rushing out to get a cast, the letting go technique was used. By Christmas, it was possible to return to the dance floor. At a later time, a severely sprained ankle healed itself in minutes by instantly surrendering the pain.
So how beautiful. Once we realize that all the conditioning we've had, we can challenge that by proper analytical thinking and reasoning, not just ki "Arey, ye aaya tha, chala gaya." If that is there, if you can do it upra upri and that can work with you deep down, great. In my opinion, whatever we have to surrender, we have to first understand it to the deep level that why this must have come. And for this, what I would recommend everyone is that the bigger your problem is, the deeper you need to go. For deeper you need to go, just close your eyes from all things. If you have noise cancellation, AirPods or something, you want to put on some music, just put on very light music and ask yourself these answers. It's very important to let go at the deeper level. Okay, this is what happened. I had a particular problem which was hounding me for I don't know how many years. And they were like patterns again and again, again and again coming. One day I finally asked the problem in my body, why do you come up? What is the reason why you come up? Can I understand the reason? And then all the flashbacks came. Our mind is so beautiful. Use the power. It's going to show you the mental movie of what happened, which there is a reason what happened. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was a kid. I never realized I'm working on this. So very, very important for all of us to go beyond ourselves and to see where are we. So we are on page number 303, not the next one. And tomorrow we'll talk about healing or vision. And today we concluded this particular chapter. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ruchi, for reading. In your absence, Richa was reading. She's also been so regular for the last 3 batches. Amazing. And now I'm going to request Akshay to read if his net is better today. It was in the same place I can see. So let's see if it's better. The Art of Creative Thinking. We are now again on a very beautiful chapter. And let's just go for it. So, sir, you can make him the host as well. Yes. Thank you for trying. It's always good to try. That's all. When the intention is there, it works very well. Wow. Let's make freedom a career. Right now, also, we talked about the very beautiful power of being free from all the possible problems in our body, how we can start healing ourselves by understanding that particular thing and by changing the beliefs. And here we are in talking about freedom. Now, let's release this and realize this in one fashion, which is let's be free for our career, for our life, for everything possible. If we are doing that, then life can really, really, really become magical. All right, let's read it.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Dr. Seuss editors bet him he couldn't write a book with a limit of only 50 different words. Dr. Seuss won the bet and in the process produced one of the highest selling children's books of all time, Green Eggs and Ham. Van Gogh used a maximum of 6 colors when painting. Picasso focused on one color during his blue period. They imposed these limitations on themselves. They needed a framework, but it was their framework, one that suited them. Jackson Pollock's paintings may look chaotic, but they are highly organized. He planned the color scheme for each one in advance, usually no more than 8 to 10 colors. He used industrial paint so the colors were ready mixed in the large tins before he started the work. Paint lends itself to hundreds of mark-making techniques, scumbles, glazes, dabs, scrapes, thousands of possibilities. But Pollock only used one technique, dribbles. He used no figurative imagery. He defined clear limits for his work and kept rigidly to them. But within them, he worked with freedom. He didn't make rules. They were more like compass points for him to keep his bearings, to prevent him getting lost in a myriad of possibilities. In the 1950s, art revolutionary and unique. If you have to decide between a good choice and a bad choice, it's easy. When you have to decide between a good choice, or another good choice, it's hard. Psychologists have uncovered the fact that too many choices, even between good options, lead to decision paralysis. Professor Hazel Rose Marcus of Stanford, the page, University's Department of Psychology says, even in contexts where choice can foster freedom, empowerment, and independence, it is not an unalloyed good. Choice can also produce a numbing uncertainty, depression, and selfishness. If you work without boundaries, you'll discover what boundaries you need to erect for yourself. Creative people need to work with complete freedom, but paradoxically, to prevent themselves descending into chaos, they set parameters and limitations within which they work. Complete freedom can be dangerous and confusing labyrinth for us to get lost in. Work without limitations in order to discover your own boundaries. Once you have worked out the boundaries you need to work within, you can work with freedom.
Oh, wonderful. So we don't have to be any labyrinth. We don't have to be any puzzle format. We don't have to have do's and don'ts. Yes, we need to know where we need to reach, but let's be creative. Let's just not have, let's be limitless. Let's just make our life so wonderful. Let's go and find what is there which we can unfold. Why live within the shackles of society? Why live within some boundaries? Become a radical thinker, become somebody who's just free in life. And that's what he embraces for himself. J.K. Chesterton says, art is limitation. A sense of every picture is a frame. So again, let's become limitless, whether it's art, whether it's life, whether it's career, whether it's body, let's become free. Tomorrow we'll do some exercises, which we'll learn. This book is today the last chapter we've read today. Tomorrow we'll read the exercise after which the book concludes. And let's see how all of us can make this. So this entire book, we've learned one thing, that we've just been thinking out of the box. We've been just breaking the conditioning. We've been reading about people who've actually done that in their life. And I hope we're inspired enough by making life so much, much better. All right, time for a meditation, and let's go and let's see what today's meditation is all about. All right. So Sir Akshay can be made the co-host. All right. It's about working together. Today's heart thought is, each person is part of the harmonious whole. So we'll go on this. So everyone, eyes closed. Feet firmly placed in the ground below. Check your postures. Inhale. And very gently exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Deep, deep, deep breath in. And gently breath out. Very gently. Life is magical. Life is beautiful. Life is harmony. Each person is part of the harmonious whole. If you choose to believe everyone is helpful, you will find that wherever you go in life, people are there to support you, to help you. It's all about our belief. We are each a divine idea expressing through one mind in harmonious ways. We have come together because there is something we need to learn from each other. We do not meet anyone by chance. Everyone comes in a life for a purpose, for something. Let's always be thankful for everyone for making this harmonious process. Some people will come to make us, break us, shake us. Let's accept the divinity also. Some people will come to love us, nurture us, rekindle the spirits within us. Let's be grateful for their beautiful love. We have a purpose in being together. There is no need to fight this purpose or to blame out another one for what is happening, because by now we are aware that we are the creators, the directors, the producers of our beautiful life, namely the movie. It is safe for us to work on loving ourselves so that we may benefit and grow from this experience. Let's choose to work together to bring harmony into our business at hand and into every area of our lives. Everything we do is based on one truth, the truth of our beings and the truth of life. Divine right action is guiding us every moment, every time, in the day, in our life. We say the right words at the right time and follow the right course of action at all times. We are divinely guided. Each person is part of the harmonious whole. There's a divine blending of energies as people work joyously together, supporting, encouraging each other in ways that are fulfilling and productive. And we are those people. We are successful in every area of our work and our lives. We are healthy, happy, loving, joyful, respectful, supportive, productive, and at peace with ourselves and others around us. The treatment is lovingly released into the one mind, which does the work and makes it manifest in our lives. So be it, and so it is. It's done. Let's bow our heads in gratitude towards Mother Earth for bringing this beautiful harmony in our life, where each person is helping us in our beautiful life to make it even more richer. Thank you, Mother Earth, for blessing us with so many virtues every single day. On an eye level, let's thank the life that we've lived, the experiences we've gained, for us becoming enlivened, empowered, enlightened. Thank you, life, for being so wonderful. And thank you, my present life, and I'm sowing seeds of so much more acceptance, letting go, and evolving as a better version of myself. So tomorrow, I see that you're magical. Now let's expand our hands towards the universe and thank it. To all the cosmos, thank you for including me in your Leela. To the universe, I know you and life has my back. To all the angels, thank you for showing us that we all are guided. To the guardians, thank you for ensuring we're all guarded, protected at all times. Thank you for divinities for showering us with choicest of blessings. Thank you to all the teachers in this realm or the others, in this dimension or the others, in this plane or the others, for always guiding us through beautiful lessons. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's fold our hands and be grateful for everything from heavens to earth. Let's bless each other with a lot of love, with a lot of light, with a lot of blessings. Ruchi, Akshay, Richa, Kamakshi, Vijayji, Manish, Ushaji, Manisha, Meenakshi again, Pratimaji, Rahul sir, Amrita ma'am, Shami, and to all sentient beings. May they be love, may they be light. Lots of love. Few more days to go in our conclusion of this beautiful journey. Let's count our blessings. And as I say, Let's just go back to our learnings and see what has made us into who we are in these one-to-one days. So we'll talk about them soon. Lots of love and lots of light. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Atma Namaste. Thank you.